Think back to when you were in school. Maybe it was an essay or term paper that you didn't give your full attention to, a test you missed studying for because of a practice or rehearsal, an art project that just didn't come together like the image you had in your mind. Yet you turn in the project or take the test because that's what you had to do, cringing as you think about the grade you know your teacher's about to give you. When you return to class the next day or the following week, like you imagined, your teacher calls you up. Your shoulders tighten, you walk up to their desk and get ready for the lecture. But instead, your teacher hands you your paper or your test or project and kindly says, "I'm going to give you a redo." And immediately you relax, breathe a sigh of relief, and get back to work, making it better. What a teacher like this realizes is that life is a work in progress. We won't always get an A, write a perfect paper, create an amazing art project. This is just as true for the work we do as it is for the relationships we have. We won't always get them right. We'll say or do things that hurt the people we love. We'll speak out of turn. We'll act in ways that break friendships that mean so much to us. But that's where forgiveness comes in. We will all get hurt, and when we allow that hurt to control us, we just end up getting hurt more. That's why, when it comes to forgiveness, we all need a redo, a chance to restore what became broken. Forgiveness is important. That's why we're taking the month of March to talk about it. We'll talk about forgiveness like this: deciding that someone who has wronged you doesn't have to pay. In other words, forgiveness is learning how to let go of the hurt and, when possible, restore the relationship that was broken. See, forgiveness happens when we decide we're going to stop adding to the list of hurt and pain we carry with us. We decide to quit gathering ammunition and let go of the things that we've been holding on to and walk away. It's like our memory verse says in Colossians 3:13, "Put up with one another. Forgive one another if you're holding something against someone. Forgive, just as the Lord forgave you." When it comes down to it, the most compelling reason why any of us can forgive other people is because God forgave us first. We start our month on forgiveness with a moment from Jesus' life. In Luke chapter 7, verse 36 through 50, we find Jesus at the home of a Pharisee. While he was there, a woman with a bad reputation stopped by with an expensive jar of perfume. She cried and used her tears to wash Jesus' feet, then breaks open the perfume and anoints them. The Pharisee was upset that Jesus would let a woman like this near him. Jesus responded with a parable to explain why this woman honored Jesus so much. She understood something about forgiveness that the Pharisees missed. Bottom line, everyone needs forgiveness. In week 2, we turn to a familiar story of Zacchaeus. He was a tax collector with a reputation for taking advantage of people. So he must have been shocked when Jesus asked to come over to his home for a meal. Zacchaeus said yes, and when he encountered Jesus, he changed completely. He went back to the people and returned 4 times as much as he took from them. Bottom line, when you forgive others, it can change them. Then in week 3, we head to Matthew chapter 18, verse 21 through 35, and learn more about the time when Jesus tells the story of a servant who loves to live it up, even though he's weighed down by millions of dollars in debt. This servant gets a big break when the king forgives his debt. You think he's got it made until he finds a man who owes him a few bucks. You think he'd pay it forward, cancel the debt, but that's not what happened. He gets caught when he didn't forgive others like the king forgave him. Bottom line, forgive others because God forgives you. We end the month in Luke, where Jesus tells us a story of the ultimate grace and forgiveness. The religious leaders aren't thrilled that Jesus is hanging out with riffraff, sinners. Jesus responds to them with familiar stories, including the one about the lost son. In week 4, we see how this kid thinks he's got it all together. He demands half of his dad's money and takes off to spend it on himself. It's only when the money is gone that he realizes he made a huge mistake and needs forgiveness. He's got just one hope, that his dad lets him come home and be a servant. But when the son returns, ready to work off the money he took from his father, the father welcomes his lost son home and even throws a giant party. But not everyone's too happy about this. The kid's older brother has obeyed his father all his life without a single party to show for it. He's sulking in the backyard until his dad shows up. And if Big Brother isn't willing to let this whole thing go, well, he's gonna miss out, big time. And so can we if we don't forgive others. Bottom line, God will always forgive you. This month, think about what's happening in the lives of your kids and families. I wonder what would happen if during this month, you help them understand more about the redo. After all, there's nothing they can do that God can't forgive. And because God has forgiven them, they have the power to forgive those around them. Let them discover that the sooner they allow God to help them make things right with others, the faster they become who God created them to be.